Welcome, students. Today I am going to talk about a brief history of English language. In our previous lectures, I have already talked about the evolution of language and the varieties and components of language in general. But the focus of our study is obviously English language, and so in today's lecture, we will concentrate on that part. The starting point of lecture will be how English began and how it developed to reach its present status. Today, English is the most important language in the world. It is undoubtedly a fact and everybody accepts it. So, it will serve the purpose of all the students pursuing their undergraduate and postgraduate studies. So let's start the discussion. And actually, in this lecture, we will consider only a part of the development of English language, that is called Old English. So from the beginning till 1066 AD. We all know that English is not a very old language. The journey of English is only 1500 years long, and so we will focus on different parts of its development in its journey. So let's begin. Actually, before 449 AD, there was no language known as English, and there was no country known as England. Before that, the British Isle, which is today known as England, was the land of mostly Celtic people. Of course, the Scots and other people were also there in the northern part, but mostly the mainland, England, was inhabited by Celtic people and their language was also Celtic. These people were mostly dependent on the mercy of Roman Empire because they were under their suzerainty, and they expected the kings of Roman Empire to protect them against the inroads of other inhabitants living in the northern part of the island. But Roman people were much more involved in their own affairs, defending their own territory. They were not going through very good times, so they ultimately refused to support. In a way, Roman people withdrew from their possessions in Celtic land. The result was one of their local leader joined hands with Jews to counter the inroads of Scots and other inhabitants, but the Jews in turn, earlier they supported them, Celtic people, in countering the attacks of other inhabitants of the northern part of the land. But after doing that, they started settling there to, and this was very shocking to them because they were uncivilized people. They were their victories, their inroads were different from those of Romans because Romans were very civilized people. They just ruled these people and they believed in destabilizing them to make their establishment, and that was very shocking for them, obviously. Gradually, other people from the same region, means Angles and Saxons also migrated to British Isle, and they settled in different part of the country. Saxons in mostly the southern part, Angles and Jutes were relatively in the northern part. Jutes were in the northernmost parts. So it is believed that towards the middle of the 5th century, they were mostly settled in British Isle. Obviously, they did not only destabilize the Celtic people, they also started using their way of life, their languages, and they completely dominated, they completely vanquished that region. Of course, the name itself suggests that the name England is derived from the name Angles. It is obviously, it took a long time to get to this name. Earlier it was called Anglican, and then it came to be known as England. But everything was not so straight. These people were originally the inhabitants of modern day Germany, Denmark, and Netherlands, the area covering these regions, these countries. And they made their inroads to Celtic land, means British Isle, means that is today known as England. And they were at that time speaking different dialects of the same language. You already know the concept of dialect and language. Language is a larger category, and according to regional variations, different dialect can be there in a single language. So these people were the speakers of the same language, but the dialects were different. These people settled there, and after their settlement, they found that the Roman people started coming to that region, that territory, in a different garb, in a different way. They started converting these people to Christianity. Means the Roman people sent their Christian missionaries to convert the entire England, and they successfully did so within the time span of only 2 centuries, you can say. So by the end of 700 AD, most of England was converted to Christianity. The result was, I am mentioning these events only because all these events had their impact on the development on English language. Earlier, before coming in contact with Roman people, their script was different. They borrowed the script of Roman people because after they were successful in their missionary activities, missionary mission, you can say they also got a hold on the educational system, because church was the center of not only the ecclesiastical system but also of the educational system. As in our culture as well, all the temples and mosques were the center of education in the medieval period. So was the case with that reason and that religion as well. So church became the center of education. So people started borrowing from Latin vocab. It was quite natural. They were being taught by people speaking Roman language. So obviously most of the words related to education, most of the words related to cultured life, sophisticated way of life, came into English language from Latin. Again, the script also was borrowed. They adopted a Roman script as well. They learned certain alphabets as well. All these things were going on smoothly when around the middle of 9th century, you can say, another invasion, another inroads from the same region from where these people had come to England started. These invasions were called Viking invasions or Scandinavian invasions or Danish invasions. By any name, you can call these invasions. The problem was that the new invaders were one time related to these people. They shared close proximity in terms of way of life, in terms of language, everything. Still, there was a vast difference in their respective languages. So, when after a long struggle, a Scandinavian people got hold of England and they established their rule, the first ruler was probably Newt, and they started impacting the life of, influencing the life of these people. Their words also came into English language. But it is very hard to recognize which word is exactly of a Scandinavian origin because of the earlier proximity of language and life of these people. These people and Scandinavians shared a kind of proximity. They came from almost the same region to this British Isle. So, still we can find some structure words coming from a Scandinavian to English language. For example, the most important example may be the pronoun they. In Old English, before the advent of Scandinavians, English had a kind of problem in just formulating the plural of third person singular, he. The form was generally used as here, but a Scandinavian gave this pronoun. Apart from it, certain prepositions such as till and fro, today's, to and from, you can say, also came from a Scandinavian. So these things happened, and you can say the Scandinavian influence was very profound and yet so subtle that it is very difficult to just precisely notice them, that this word is definitely of a Scandinavian origin. It takes a lot of research, the difference in sound system, the difference in timeline of the origin of word. All these things have to be considered before coming to a conclusion, definite conclusion. So this is the subject of a specialist of linguists. You need not bother about that. But the whatever mentioned in your syllabus should be focused on. So this is the influence of Latin and Scandinavian in the course of development of English language. So I have probably not mentioned the examples of Latin language because that will form a different question, the influence of Latin on English, Latin influence on English. A separate question is asked in examination, so we will discuss that topic separately in subsequent lectures. All the influences will be discussed separately and you will get enough example in those discussions, in those classes. So let's move forward. We will only focus our discussion on the characteristics and the general history of the evolution of language. Characteristics of Old English will be discussed in this chapter. So, after that, another turning point came, and that is in 1066 AD, when the Scandinavian king ruling at that time in that region died issueless. He left no successor, and that gave birth to conspiracy in his own court, and his commander-in-chief and his son began to aspire to the throne. But at the same time, one person ruling in Normandy, who is known as William the Conqueror in the history, also aspired to the same place because he thought he was the only living relative of the deceased king, and so he is the real rightful successor to the king. So, how he was relative? Because that if we go back a little in the timeline, when Scandinavians were making their inroads in England, a branch of those people were also making inroads in France, and they occupied Normandy and started ruling from there. And the king of France also recognized their status. So they were somehow related, and in immediate terms, he was somehow closely related to the king of Normandy. They were also related by some marital relationship, on immediate basis. You can say it means the Kong William's father was his brother-in-law, the brother-in-law of the deceased king. This was the relation, exact relation. And when he was not invited by the English people, he got furious and invaded England and got a clean sweep in that battle. But the result, after the result, he could not trust the English people because he thought that these people were cheating upon him. They were not trying, they were trying to steal his rightful position. So he decided to change the structure of the English court and borrowed all the courtiers from France. So overnight, the courtiers were changed. All the French people occupied the English court. Means the French culture became the court culture of England, and the French became the official language of England. And English was relapsed into only the spoken language of the masses. This was the exact result in terms of the status of English language. And after the lapse of 1.5 century only, the English could re-emerge to assert its previous position of official language in England. For that period, French occupied that place. So this is the entire outline of history. Now let's come to the main characteristics of English language. So this is called Old English period. Some people also call it Anglo-Saxon period. The main source of the knowledge of this period is Bede's history. Actually, this is the famous name. Actually, the author was Bede, a monk, a Christian monk, and the name of the book was The Ecclesiastical History of the English People. The ecclesiastical means related to religion, and King's Chronicle. These two sources are the most important sources to give the outline of developments of that period, political and social developments of that period, also religious, you can say. So let's come again to the main characteristics of English language of this period. Actually, the grammar of English language was completely different from the grammar of today. Today we have SVO, but at that time, this is in today's era, means we have a fixed word structure, fixed sequence. But at that time, English was inflectional. inflectional language means resembling the grammar of Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, you can notice that you use different forms of noun as subjects and different forms of noun as object and other purposes in possessive, all the things. Similarly, these people used in Old English. Then it means the grammar was completely different from today. Then we have pronunciation. Pronunciation was also different. Means they used this alphabet was pronounced as A. Stone. Today's stone is Old English stone. Barn. Today's bone. All these differences were there in terms of pronunciation. Then when it comes to alphabets, earlier they used runic alphabets, and that is why we don't have many works, any idea of concrete idea of many of the works written during that period, because the books were signed in this script that is still not clearly decipherable. In the later age, they adopted Roman script and everything changed. Again, there was another characteristics of compounding in English language. According to the changing concepts, to suit the concepts, they could modify their vocab. Even without the influence of Latin, English could do very well to adapt itself to the new reason, new way of life, because it was the flexibility of English language that rendered it this characteristic, because they were able to compound different, make new compounds to suit the new concepts, and that was one of the chief characteristics of English as well. So you can notice this formation of compounds. Out of verbs, out of nouns, different things. All these things can be discussed in detail, but that is not required in this lecture. This is not, there are no questions asked from this section specifically. So, and you will have a separate lecture on this issue related to word formation, and you will have some example on these points. So this is all about Old English. After 1066, when Norman people came to India, and this event is known as Norman Conquest, what happened to English language after Norman Conquest will be discussed in next lecture. So enjoy the study. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next update and subscribe the channel.